The last question is actually very similar to this, and then I just put some language down there to help you remember, okay, that we're using the complement. Okay, so Wendy's taking a multiple choice quiz that has 20 questions. There are 4 answer choices for each question. What's the probability she will get at least 2 answers correct by guessing? Okay, so just like we had before, there is a direct method. The direct way to solve the problem is to calculate the probability of exactly 2 plus the probability of exactly 3, all the way up to the probability of exactly 20, right? So we thought the last one, doing 4 of them, would be tedious. Imagine having to calculate all of those. This is especially where that complement comes in handy. So an easier way is to use the complement. So this is what we did in example 4. The complement to getting at least 2 answers correct would be getting 0 or 1 correct. Okay, so what we can do is we can find that and then subtract from 1. Okay, so just like we did in the last one, we're going to do the probability of multiples. So in this case, what's your value of n? 20. What's the probability of success?
1 out of 4.
1. It's still 1/4. And we're going to use the decimal because some of yours are going to have decimals, so I thought this would be a good one to practice on. Okay? Okay, so now let's set this up. I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so I want you to do the probability of 0 and then the probability of 1. So it's the probability of exactly 0 and then the probability of exactly 1.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's important that you practice plugging in those formulas. Okay, that way you can make your mistakes now and not in the future.
I'm having a breakdown. Where do I go to see and then I like what? Yeah. I need that. I can't remember that. And write it down.
Alright, let's check to make sure we have the right setup. So again, in your formula, this is NCR. So the N value is 20. What's the R value for this one? 0. It's always whatever you're trying to find the probability of. Okay, and then I told you we're using decimals this time, so we can practice that. So 0.25 to the 0 and 0.75, yeah, it's to what? The 20th. Because these two should always add to that. Okay, and then remember, 0 means the first entry. What's the first entry in every single column? Just 1. Okay, so this is 1, and then guess what? That is 1. Right? Anything to the 0 power. So for this one, all you have to calculate is 0.75 to the 20th power. Okay? And then, do you guys remember how many decimals we're going to round?
20.
So for the decimal, we're always rounding to what place? The thousand. And then at the end, we round to the 10. Okay? Okay, now this equation is the same one. The only difference is instead of 0, now we're plugging in 1. So it's 20C1, 0.25 to the first, 0.75 to the what? To the what? 19. Yes, good. Okay, so 19 plus 1, 20. Okay, now this means we could go to the 20th row and choose, I know it says 1, but remember the first entry in this formula is the second one you see in the row because it starts with 0. What is the second value in any row? 20. It's the same as the row number. Yep. So this is going to be 20. Again, feel free to calculate that with your calculator using that feature. That's fine. Okay, so we have 20 times 0.25 times 0.75 to the 19th. Okay, and again we're rounding to the nearest thousand. Now, there are two ways you can do this. You can add them together and subtract from 1, or you can just do 1 minus 0.003 minus 0.021. And I'm letting you round to the thousandth here, okay? No, like I put these in parentheses so that you would distribute the negative. So you're subtracting both, or you can add them together and then subtract that number. Doesn't matter which way you do it, either way you will get approximately 0.976, okay, which is 97.6%. Okay, so it's a pretty high value that if you randomly guessed, if there were 20 questions, there's a high chance you would get at least 2 correct. Now, 2 out of 20
pretty good.
is 10%, right?
Why isn't the probability 100%?
But 2 out of 5 isn't that much better. Like, you're still failing.
Why isn't the probability 100%?
Yeah.
Because what if you just make the whole test like level 1 letter? There has to
If
be.
it's 100%, for 100% it has to be a certainty. Please write down your homework.